April with Inked April. So I am starting a video series that is going to kind of encompass a new goal of mine that I'm trying to manifest. Okay. It's basically, so it's all around just having this intense curiosity and want to be an illustrator and write and illustrate books. Okay. So when I was younger, I liked to write stories and then illustrate pictures to go along with them. And then, through becoming a graphic designer, which is what I do in my day job, I'm also an older artist in my late 40s. And so I'm kind of taking this step to explore becoming an illustrator later on in life and after having a very long career in graphic design, which a lot of people do. A lot of people go into graphic design and end up being illustrators or some variation thereof. If you're not familiar with the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, you should look it up if it's something that you're interested in. This is a group that basically supports writers and illustrators. They have membership meetings, they have sessions every month. You can get your portfolio reviewed. You can work with, people who have actually published and illustrated books, or agents, or art representatives, or literary agents, and basically get help on publishing a manuscript or getting illustration work and things like that. I've actually been to one conference that was in Decatur, Georgia. Because of my location, I am part of the Southern Breeze group, and that is, like Alabama, Georgia, Florida. It's kind of like you can kind of join different groups. Like I've joined part of Texas, a couple of groups that are in Texas, and I've signed up for some different sort of, I don't know if you would call them conferences, but like courses or groups of courses that are like virtual, online sorts of things, and have gone through the process of doing that. I've applied for different, sort of like competitions, illustration competitions, been networking online in the Facebook group and stuff like that. And I've got an upcoming meeting that is kind of an all-day writers, illustrators work day, kind of like networking slash creating day. That's going to be in Coleman, Alabama this month. An illustration intensive that's going to be in Savannah, Georgia in December. And I really want to go to that so bad. Oh my God. They are going to have a private viewing of a Don Bluth gallery installation, and that is so exciting to me. I want to do the illustration intensive as well, but I'm just so excited about that. I'm like, okay. And I haven't been to Savannah before, so I think that would be really cool. I want to say next year there's going to be another conference, and that one's going to be in Birmingham, and that's where I am. And I'm considering trying to create, like entering in some artwork for that conference. Super cool. And so I'm kind of working on that. I've gone through this whole mentorship thing with the iSpot, and I have some videos that I'm going to publish around that. It's going to be like a mentorship series where basically I can't record the sessions with the mentors, but I can, talk to you about my experience and what I went through and what advice I was given, and, specific to myself, right? So I did some recording of that in the spring, and I'm going to share that with you. Basically doing some sort of portfolio deep dives and talking to you about and sharing my illustration portfolio as it stands right now. Some of the sort of self-initiated projects that I have created. And there's some things I can't share and don't want to share because I don't want to put ideas out there necessarily, but kind of give you an idea of, like what I found and some of the resources that I've come across in this past year. I mean, I've like been really digging deep into learning and developing skills around this, right? And so then I'm going to have those mentorship insights. I'm going to share with you some process videos of how, I've worked through some of the sort of like layout and color story and storyboarding and things like that. I'll share with you, some of the websites that I've come across. Like there's an entire website called MS Wishlist. Really strange to me, but it's basically like where people are posting, and I haven't quite like delved deeply into it, but it's manuscript wish lists. So for me, we're talking about like agents, literary agents, artist representatives, agencies themselves that have put together these. Like, these are the things that we've never seen before. These are the things that we would like to see. These are the things that would be so interesting to put out there in the world, right? And it's kind of like Twitter. So they're like making all these lists of like things I would like to see, things that I think would be interesting to pair together. Just fascinating, fascinating. So what I found is that reading through those things aren't not necessarily being like, oh yeah, I'll make that idea, or oh yeah, I'll make that idea, but how is that applicable to my portfolio as it stands right now? Or how can I bring those sorts of ideas together? Or if I make my own connections of different elements or genres that I can put together that I think would be really cool, and kind of like not necessarily taking ideas as they are on these lists, but sort of getting inspired and kind of brainstorming and making some connections, and in making those connections, getting inspired to write and illustrate something just along those lines or in a genre, or exploring, different paths basically. And one of the things that I've learned is that, like, you know, it's very self-initiating. Like you've got to write a manuscript, and a lot of people aren't necessarily writers and illustrators, and I'm not sure about the writing side of things, right? So I'm still kind of, it's like something that I used to love doing younger, and I had good feedback from that, to trying to pick it back up and learn and explore that a little bit more. But I'm very well versed in the illustration side of things. And for me, that's all about, like practice, trial and error, trying different things, exploring different techniques, things like that. So it's kind of like I have a lot of experience in one part of this equation, but I have a curiosity and interest in the other part. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't take just illustration jobs or illustration jobs in general without, the writing portion of it. I want to build that side of it, right? And so I wanted to share with you guys a lot of this process, because some of these things is kind of like, okay, this seems so obvious, and it's so completely like out there in the open, in public, like publicly available. But has anybody ever walked through this? And as an older artist, creative, what is my process around, like, I work all day and then go to illustrate. in the evenings or on the weekends, and I have children, and I'm going to be a caretaker for my mother, a caregiver, not caretaker, caregiver for my mother. And so there's a lot of, life things that are going on, and I'm wanting to accomplish this goal, and I'm wanting to make videos about it and share it with people because I think it would be really interesting and helpful to even one single person, sort of exploring this other direction. And I'm the kind of creative person who really enjoys learning and trying new things. And there isn't any other way to do it than jumping in and doing it, right? That's how you learn. That's how you get better at it, is taking those steps to move forward towards that thing. So right now, as it stands, I have all of these sort of like conferences and courses and gatherings and things going on. I'm also kind of working on like traditional art and maybe even pulling some of that into an illustrative sense, because I've always kind of had an illustrative style. I've always kind of had sort of a storytelling element to my work that just sort of comes through that way, right? So I've got a lot of things going on. I'm going to try to do at least a video a week and maybe share with you guys, some of the things that are happening as I go through them, as they happen. And I'm going to kind of backtrack to like the beginning of the year when I went through a mentorship program and kind of share all of that with you, and then come back to today and what I'm doing today and how that's going and what I'm learning and those experiences. So I hope you join me if you're an older person and you're curious about illustrating, or if you have a completely different career and you're curious about illustrating or writing or children's book industry or young adult industry. Join me for this crazy path I'm going to try to like dig through. I feel like I just pictured like someone who's like clearing a path through this forest, and trying to make their way through to like, I don't know, a cottage or a castle out there that you can like see on the precipice, and just, trying to figure it out, trying to share it with you guys. I hope you join me. Definitely like and subscribe to this if you want to see more of these kind of videos that are coming up in the series.